Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, traders, for today's session. Another webinar in the Admiral Markets Trading Spotlight series. My name's Paul Wallace, and today I'm here to talk to you about how to manage your health as a trader. A fascinating subject, and one that becomes increasingly more important the longer you actually trade. And so we're going to cover a wide spectrum today. So please stay with us. Please like the webinar as you go along. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, or just in the chat box here, if you're joining us today, just please let us know what your own experience has been as in terms of managing your own health as a trader. We're always fascinated to hear your own particular insights. So what am I going to talk about today? Well, of course, when people think just about managing health, they just normally have a very specific and perhaps maybe even a narrow view of it. So what we are going to talk about is the different forms of health that you must be aware of as a trader. And we'll talk also a little bit about the differences between the myth and the reality. Sometimes what the kind of, let's say, the sort of internet might tell you is the way that you should be managing health is actually very different from the reality, and we will talk about that this afternoon. We'll also discuss, as I'm going through, about what are maybe the early warning signs that one area may be failing, that you might actually be struggling in one particular area. That's absolutely fine. You're a human being. We all have our own challenges. But the earlier you're able to identify it, the better you are to be able to address that particular issue. And throughout it all, we'll be talking about what can you do to help manage your health in all of those particular areas. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Paul Wallace, and I've been trading for many years, and primarily I like to focus on trading FX indices and commodities. Primarily, I'm a swing trader, but I will also do a little bit of intraday mean reversion trading as well. And we're here at Admiral Markets. Okay, Admiral Markets, as you can see there, it's a Forex and CFD broker with a wide range of instruments that is regulated and authorized across a wide ranging of environments, providing very competitive spreads on the most popular trading instruments, and the ability to engage with markets using either MT4 or MT5. And if you have any particular questions, please get in touch with your account representative, and they'll be happy to provide you with guidance. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about how to manage your health as a trader. As it says there on the slide, as you can see, trading can be an intense and demanding occupation, which makes it important to manage your health to be the best trader you can be. However, there is more to managing your health than you may think. It is not just a case of managing your physical health. Today, we'll explore all forms of managing your health. What I often find is that, very new traders, okay, they're only really thinking about execution, okay? They're only really thinking about, they just want tactics that they can basically, utilize to trade financial markets. But as you grow, as both as a human and as a trader, and as your trading experience increases, what you realize is that we don't trade in a silo. Okay, your trading does not exist in a pure silo all on its own. And then what you will actually find is that there'll be a huge amount of the external factors in your life that will have an impact upon your trading. Similarly, your trading have an impact upon those external factors. And it is, as I say, as you grow as a trader and as your experience levels increase, you'll realize the connectivity, so to speak, of yourself and your health and your trading. And the better you are able to understand it, well, then you're in a better position to actually to manage it. And as I say, completely new traders sometimes overlook this invariably until it is too late. Whereas actually what we're here to do today is to help raise your awareness about the different forms of health that you'll experience as a trader, and give you some ideas about how you can look at managing that. Because once you've had your awareness raised, you're in a better position to make better choices, and with better choices, you give yourself the opportunity to generate better outcomes. So, what we say is, we find, and we've talked about this quite a bit over the last few of my trading spotlight webinar sessions, is that, it's all about evolution versus revolution. All right. I've coached traders for tens of years, and it's a case of very often new traders When they come to see a coach, okay, they're frustrated because they're not getting the results that they actually are driving for, okay, and it leaves them feeling frustrated, sometimes a bit angry, sometimes a bit grumpy. And actually what they're looking for is a case of, they're looking for a revolution. They want to throw the bath out with the baby water. They want to ditch everything and start afresh. And actually what really is more helpful for traders is to understand that more often than not, you're going through a period of evolution. And all traders are constantly in a period of evolution, or process of evolution, towards their next level as a trader. And it's the same with actually managing your health as a trader. It's not a case of you trying to make a revolution, so there's a complete fresh new start, everything tomorrow. More a case of understanding some of the elements we're going to talk about today. Maybe taking a little bit of almost like an inventory check, okay, of your trading business. Your IP, okay, you are the main element of your trading business, and sometimes you need to take a little bit of almost like a little business inventory check of your own business, and find out where are the areas that perhaps you could be doing better, are there areas that need some development. And hopefully what we'll do is we'll touch upon quite a few of those aspects today, and that might just give you some sort of some insight, some sort of inspiration into the way that you could just evolve to being the best trader that you possibly can be. And it's a case of, you don't need to make a huge sweeping overnight changes. It's more a case of small changes that you can make, that you can sustain, okay, that are sustainable in terms of you and the way you operate as a trader. And that's what we want to talk about today, okay. So, perhaps maybe some of you are here, you've had your experiences as a trader. Maybe they've been good, maybe they've been frustrating, maybe that has had an impact upon your health. If they have, then please, would love to hear your comments and your thoughts and your ideas. If you've got a particular story to share, or a particular insight that you learned through your own trading experience, and I'll be sharing quite a few of my own, not only as a someone who's coached traders, but actually someone who trades myself, and from my experience of working for funds and the like. And I'll be sharing some ideas about that myself that will hopefully resonate with you in terms of your own journey, okay, in terms of your own process of evolution as a trader. So, as I said, at the start, very often when we talk about managing health as a trader, people have a very specific and perhaps sometimes quite a narrow definition of what they mean by managing their health. They think of it just in terms of their pure physical health. But hopefully, as you can see here, that there are a wide range of aspects of health, okay, your health as a trader. So not only do we have physical, we also have your mental and emotional health, you have your financial health, you have your spiritual health, your social health, and also your relationship health. Now, I suppose the question for you to ask is, have you considered all of these aspects in your own trading business at the moment? Have you considered them in terms of your own ways of managing health as a trader, as an individual, as a human being? Perhaps maybe you have, perhaps maybe you've given one or two of the elements just a cursory glance, a cursory thought, okay? But what we are here today is, as I say, to help educate you and help raise your awareness, okay, about managing your health as a trader, and maybe pose one or two questions for you to take away that you're able to sort of challenge yourself in terms of helping develop to become the best trader you possibly can be. So, if we talk about physical health, as it says there, it's not about the six pack, okay? It's not about you having to be an Ironman triathlete in terms of being the best trader that you can be, but it is important to take it on board, okay? It is important to take your physical health and the kind of signs of that. You have to manage that and monitor that constantly. What you're going to find is that a lot of time you're going to be spending sat at your desk, okay? You're sat in your chair, sat at your desk, staring at screens, okay? And before you know it, 4, 6, 8, 10 hours can pass. You do that day in, day out, especially if, like I was, you're working for funds, or if you're managing other people's money. Well, then invariably, what happens is then that can take a particular toll on you. So it's important that you're actually able to just, even on a kind of also like a micro basis, just making sure that you're getting up every 40 minutes or so, maybe even just to do a few stretches or a few sort of simple stationary exercises where you are. Every couple of hours, make sure get up, get out, get away from your desk, get out of your house, get out of your office, go for a walk around the block, okay? Just basically ensure that you're getting a little bit of fresh air, a little bit of a stretch, okay? A little bit of a physical, sort of almost like physical distance from your trading space, okay? And of course, as that happens, then you may well, I know there'll be some people who do actually have very, very strict, very challenging, very demanding physical goals, and that's fantastic. That's absolutely superb. It can be a way to channel frustration if you've had a particularly challenging couple of trading sessions. Well, then perhaps the way that you channel that frustration is by some form of physical means, whether that is being in the gym pushing tin, or whether that's running up and down your local hills, or playing rugby, or whatever. You'll find the particular ways that work best for yourself. And it's important, okay? And what I would be saying is that it's a case of just trying to effectively just make sure that it is prioritized, because it's very easy to give it a miss. If the markets are moving, or you're chasing a financial goal, or you feel as if you're sort of under pressure to perform as a trader, well, then actually it can be quite easy to sort of effectively try and ignore that, okay? Try and sort of deprioritize it. But I can assure you that what will happen is that all you're doing is making difficulties and trouble for you down the particular line. So I can talk about here about one of my own personal experiences, okay? As one of my mentors told me many years ago, if you don't fix the problem fixes you. So it would have been 10 years ago now, playing competitive sport, and I managed to rupture my sartorius muscle, my outside of my quads, my hamstring, and the fascia around my hip quite badly. I didn't even know what a sartorius muscle was until I really badly damaged it. And I can assure you I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I spent quite a bit of time laid up from it, because it was just quite enormously painful. But the thing, the reason I share that for you is that, I had to go through quite a lot of physio and physical therapy afterwards to sort of, return to being able to sort of run and play sports, etc. And actually what came out of that was that what they found was that, I had, one of the reasons this had happened, one of the reasons this had occurred, was because the physiotherapist telling me I had been spending far too much time sat at my desk, sat on the edge of my seats as an intraday trader. Just before that, I'd just done a few years working as an intraday trader for a hedge fund, and I might spend 8 to 12 hours a day sat on the edge of my seat, okay, trading markets, because that's what my job was, that's what I was doing. And invariably all the time I was spent there, that the edge of that seat was digging into the back of my leg, okay? So please, I stress this to you, I would not wish anyone to go through what I had to go through. So please learn from my experience, okay? As I said, you don't have to be an Ironman triathlete, but it is important to address it. And if I can give you one simple tip from that, is to watch your hips and your hamstrings. I know lots of people have stand-up desks, or lots of people like to try and have a sort of trade whilst they're standing up. That's absolutely fine, no problem. But I appreciate that there'll be a lot of people who will be spending a lot of time in front of their screens, and I just ask you to watch your hips and hamstrings, okay? Just make sure that you can do what you can to sort of manage them. I would not wish you to rupture your sartorius muscle like I did. So that was physical health, okay? And then we move on to another area, and it's probably an area that's actually quite certainly here in the UK, it's quite prevalent, it's quite ubiquitous at the moment, okay, in terms of understanding and managing people's mental and emotional health. So here we are, is about the myth, okay, the myth of managing your mental and emotional health. And here's my quite simplistic description, but it's a starting point for us. When I talk about mental health, I talk about mental in terms of like perhaps the pictures, okay, the pictures that we would create, okay, within our mind, perhaps sometimes the words that we would use to talk to ourselves, which leads us into emotional health. Emotional health would be about how we particularly feel about, could be a trade, it could be an instance, it could be something going on in your life, okay, but they are both very closely connected, your mental and emotional health. And the myth is a case of very often people think that as as a trader, in terms of your mental and emotional health, that invariably you have to be have to have like emotionally, be almost like emotionally dead, have like no emotions whatsoever, almost like you have sort of ice running through your veins. Okay, that invariably you have to not have any particular feelings about trading, not have any sort of particular interruptions, that your mental strength must be like a tough iron box that basically is impervious to whatever is happening around and about you. And that's that's kind of like the myth of it, that you need to be have, as I said, ice in your veins. You need to have a strong brain and just full of absolute constant self-confidence and self-belief, regardless of what is going on around you. But the reality is quite different, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, people might say that as a trader you have to have no emotions whatsoever. Well, that's absolute rubbish. Okay, that's absolute rubbish. Humans, you are nothing but just a big bag of chemicals. Really, you are nothing but a big bag of chemicals, and you are going to have a series of emotions, experiencing series of emotions as a trader. I'd suggest that you will run the whole gamut of emotions as a trader. What it becomes about, though, is about understanding those emotions, about being able to almost kind of calibrate yourself with those emotions, about understand when you are perhaps frustration, when you are angry, when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're actually, when you're feeling, overconfident, euphoric, or when you're feeling, perhaps even very low and feeling very depressed. It's more about being able to understand that. And as we said, for men, it takes a little bit of time to understand that and work that out. Okay, we're not necessarily naturally attuned to that, but I can assure you that it will actually help you as a trader, and also as a human being, to be able to sort of start to learn and to understand your own particular mental and emotional health. And in terms of your mental health, it might be about, well, what are the pictures that you create about yourself? What is it that you say to yourself, when things are going great, but also when things are challenging, all right? What is the kind of language that you use to sort of talk to yourself? Does it help you or does it hinder you? Very often, sometimes, once they start to explore that and unwrap that, they realize that perhaps sometimes their internal dialogue is not always the most positive, and sometimes it's not always the most helpful. And you have to ask that question, if you're beating up on yourself, okay, mentally and emotionally, is that really helping you? Why would you be doing that? What is it that you're actually hoping to gain from that? And there's a chance for you to basically to make a change, and I wish I could say that will change overnight. It doesn't. It takes time. But I can assure you that it's an investment worth making, in terms of understanding your own mental and emotional health, about understanding the kind of the pictures and the images that you say to yourself, and also how you particularly feel about your trading. Okay, it's sometimes it can be tough for a trader, especially if you're an intraday trader, because of loss aversion bias means that we normally feel the pain of loss about nearly twice as much as we feel the sort of the pleasure of a win in our trading. So if you have a bit of a string of losing trades, okay, that can be quite that can be a bit challenging to your mental and emotional health. Okay. But part of it links into a bigger picture in terms of understanding your own self-worth as a human being, right? You are not your trades, ladies and gentlemen, okay? You are not your trades. And your trades say nothing about your value as a human being. And that's something we're going to touch upon a bit later in one of the other elements of health, okay? They are just trades, okay? And, I find quite often, new traders that, they attach their self-esteem, they attach their self-worth to the outcome of their trades. So when the P&L is up, they're up. When the P&L is down, they're down, okay? And then they're on an emotional roller coaster. That's no way to live your life, and it's certainly no way to operate as a trader, okay? You are not your emotions, you are not your trades, okay? But take the time to understand, okay, the pictures you create, the words and language you use to yourself, and also your understanding of your particular emotions. Because sometimes, some days, being able to understand that might actually stop you from trading completely for that particular session, because you might realize that you have some, let's say, emotional residue from something that could be completely unrelated to trading. But what you might do is it might manifest itself in your trading choices. So take the time to sort of invest on understanding and managing your own mental and emotional health, ladies and gentlemen. It is a time and investment that will pay huge dividends for you, not only as a trader, but in every other aspect of your life. And here we say from, I said, if you don't particularly wish to listen to me, well, I would suggest that you listen to a chap there called Mr. Brett Steenbarger, who is a fantastic, very, very well regarded, okay, one of the top trading coaches in the world, who produces excellent material about helping traders manage themselves. What he talks about is a surprising proportion of emotional problems in trading can be traced to improper risk management, and I would agree with him on that. Certainly with new traders, very often they are over leveraging, or they're over trading, or they're impulsive in the trading, okay, and it's that poor risk management that basically leads to emotional problems. They're trading too big or too often for what their emotions are able to manage and hold, and that kind of leads to impulsive knee-jerk decisions, which rarely end well, ladies and gentlemen. So I can give you a suggestion. Mr. Steenbarger's website and his books, okay, are excellent reading material as a trader if you want to learn to understand about how to manage your own, your own performance, but also your own, mental and emotional health as a trader. The next one then we'll talk about, is your financial health, okay? How do you go about managing your financial health? Well, the myth is that, that is out there is that, when you become a trader, that actually, you're almost like, running your own printing press, that you almost have, you have like your own ATM machine, that, the markets are just pouring a never-ending stream of money into your trading account. I wish it was that easy, ladies and gentlemen, okay? I wish it was that easy. And what I can tell you is that if anybody tells you it is that easy, then they are talking in myths, okay? They are talking in absolute myths, okay? People think that is there and it's available, and that is the kind of standard that, as I say, that, invariably it is just a never-ending, seamless stream of money coming your way, okay? But the reality is that the realities can be very, very different. Okay, and it is important to understand your financial health both inside and outside of trading. Okay, what I found over the years is, in my experience, is that primarily most retail traders are undercapitalized. Okay, they are undercapitalized for their particular goals and objectives as a trader. The challenge that leads on to then is that then traders start to they need to over trade, okay, or oversize, okay, or over leverage the trade, which rarely ends well, as we saw from the comment, the quote there from Mr. Steenbarger. Or what happens is that they start chasing the money, okay, they start chasing the money, all right, and I can assure you that never ends well as a trader, okay, just trying to trade everything, impulsive traders, just chasing any kind of opportunity at all. And so that's what you see inside trading, okay, and it rarely helps. But as I said, also it can be external, okay. Very often it can be outside of trading. So very often it's a case of some people are attracted to trading, or they come to trading because actually they hate the day job, all right. They hate the day job. They don't particularly like it. They really just want any opportunity to escape from it. And actually, what they think is that trading is going to be the vehicle that allows them to escape the sort of the miserable day job, and it's going to lead them to this. Uplit lands of sun and honey and nirvana. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, that is rarely the case. Okay, so my view, my simple advice to people is, if you are in a job you don't like and hope that trading will take you out of it, my free advice to you is that you address your job first and foremost. Okay, address your job first and foremost, because if you might be able to change that job, you might be able to get a better job, you might be able to get that paid better job, which means that actually when you come to trading, if you still wish to come to trading because of genuine interest, well then you're not under the same pressures to deliver. You're probably going to be in a happier space mentally and emotionally anyway. You'll be in a happier space, which means you're probably more likely to make better choices, better decisions, rather than feeling under constant pressure to deliver and to perform, which invariably always has a knock-on impact on your own trading performance. And what we can look at next is spiritual health. Well, what are the myths around spiritual health? Well, it kind of links a little bit to the physical health and mental, emotional health. They're all quite connected. What I talk about when I am talking about spiritual health, I'm not suggesting or talking about in terms of specific, let's say, organized religion. I'm thinking about in terms of a broader understanding of your spiritual connection to the universe. For some people, they may actually find great solace and great help in particular organized religion, and if you do so, then please enjoy your faith. But we're talking about really as a kind of a broader connection, spiritual connection to the universe. And sometimes, I hear that people think, or people have this preconception that if you're a trader who is successful as a trader, that invariably, you have the spiritual health of someone like the Dalai Lama, or you're kind of godlike, almost like a Jedi master, so to speak, for those of you who would enjoy popular pop culture references. But it's a case of people think, as I said, you could be, Jedi, the Dalai Lama, you're a little bit godlike as a trader. And the reality can be quite different, okay. And it's a case of I talk about that in terms of spiritual health, okay. Spiritual health is a case of, as I say, it's about your connection to the universe in whatever way that you particularly find that. But I can talk about this, and I can talk about it from my own experience. Once again, is that I found that the more I have traded, and perhaps it's an element of becoming better at understanding myself, is that my understanding of my connection to the universe has broadened as well. My capacity and my kind of mindset has broadened magnificently in terms of understanding my place in the universe. And so, we can see there that sometimes people think maybe the spiritual health, the myth is a case of that they will find their health in spirits. Invariably, that's rarely the case, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that rarely works. It's about finding a way. It's about finding a way that you can understand your particular place in the universe. And as I say, some people find that and enjoy that. That interaction through the medium of or the vehicle of an organized religion. And if you do, then as I said, my prayers go with you. But it is about finding your own particular way, your own particular connection. Maybe it is a case that you understand that your spiritual health is best served by actually spending some time sitting under a tree in a park, reading a book. Okay, that might be what requires you to feel spiritually renewed. And if that is what it is, then so be it. Maybe that you find spiritual renewment when you're on the top of a mountain place looking out over a stunning vista, okay, over beautiful geography. If so, then that is actually then please do that as much as you as possibly can. Each of you will understand how you are able to gain some spiritual renewment. Some of you might get spiritual renewment from watching your sporting team win. Okay, that might be a way that you feel renewed and recharged and refreshed and connected with the broader universe. As I said, I'm certainly not here to judge. I'm certainly not here to sort of be prescriptive in terms of the way you must go about it. But it is definitely something that you are going to have to understand. Okay, it's definitely something you're going to have to embrace, okay, and realize that it is part of your growth as both a human being and as a trader in terms of understanding your own spiritual health. Next, let's have a talk about social health, okay. And what is the myth? Well, the myth that private retail traders are sold is that You have the ability to sit there at home in your dressing gown, in your bedroom, conquering the markets on your own. Okay, that invariably you don't need anything, you don't need anybody. That actually, you can sit there and conquer the markets all on your own, in your dressing gown, without actually having to sort of set foot outside of your house. And I'm not actually saying that you can't do that. I'm not actually saying that you can't do that. I know traders, okay, who do operate, okay, or have operated in such a particular style. But there's a consequence to that. Okay, the consequence to that is that actually being a private trader, it can be a very lonesome endeavor. It can be actually a very lonesome endeavor. It can be a very lonely. It's a lonely race to run. And that's a case of, if you might find it's a bit of a struggle, okay, that actually, sitting at home all day on your own can actually be a bit of a challenge. I know I can talk from my own experience from many years ago when I kind of was living in the centre of London, trading from home, and I realised that I lived in a city of about 10 million people, and actually I could go 2 to 3 days without actually seeing another single human being, and I realized that actually wasn't very healthy. That actually isn't terribly healthy. And the reality of part of that is that we are social animals. Okay, we are social creatures, and I don't care. If you claim to say, well, you know what, Paul, I am the most the biggest introvert in the world. You might well be, but we are still social animals. Okay, you're still part of a society, even though you may think you're able to avoid it. For some people, that you can sit at home all day on your own and actually just trade away. Yes, you can, but actually I do not believe that is a healthy way to operate. We are social animals, okay, especially if you're working in a day job before you've traded full time for yourself. You might not have realized exactly how much social interaction you had with your colleagues at work, maybe with friends, etc. And suddenly you find yourself at home on your own, day in, day out, sort of trying to crack the global financial markets. You're a social animal, okay? So take it on board, okay, that it is important for you to get out and go and sort of speak and see other human beings. When I used to trade from home right at the start, okay, what I would do is I would trade the early morning session, okay, so normally from about 7 till about 10:30, and then I would print off my charts of my trades from that morning, and then I would actually get out of the house and go to the local coffee shop and do my review of my trades in the coffee shop. And part of the reason for that is that I'd be actually around other human beings. I'd chat to the owner, chat to 1 or 2 people I knew, just have a little bit of social interaction, okay, give myself 90 minutes away from it, and then actually transit back, okay, back in time for the US session, right? Because we're social animals, all right, okay. It's important. It's important for you to have engagement with other elements of society. And because actually if you don't, well, then spending too much time on your own can send you a bit Colonel Kurt. So if you've ever seen the movie, okay, Apocalypse Now, Marlon Brando, he's an army guy, and he goes a little bit mad, and he goes up into the sort of Vietnam, Cambodian jungle and sets up his own little tribe and goes a little bit mad because effectively he's perhaps spent a bit too much time on his own. So what I say to traders is, try and avoid going a bit Colonel Kurt. Okay, so we're in a wonderful period of history, okay, whereby that you can have online social interaction with other traders. Okay, you can join us on Traders Yard, okay, which you'll see in come and join us, okay, in the Traders Yard with my colleagues Marcus and Jens. But also you'll find meetup groups. I run 3 myself in London and Liverpool and Dublin. It's just a chance for traders to get out from behind the screens, just go and meet and chat to other traders, okay. Nobody understands your journey as a trader quite like another trader, okay. So get out from behind your screens, go and interact with other humans and with other traders, okay. You'll find it'll do you the power of good, all right. So as I say, try and avoid going a bit Colonel Kurtz, ladies and gentlemen, all right. That's not a good place to be. And let's talk about relationship health, okay? Let's talk about, the sort of the kind of myths around that. And, and a kind of relationship health is quite a a broad, okay, it's quite a broad spectrum there, okay. Yes, it will mean the sort of the relationship with perhaps your most intimate primary partner, but also the kind of that relationship with friends, with family, with close acquaintances, okay. It's a little bit broader that. Now, of course, the myth is that, of course, that if you're in relationship, all right, perhaps you're married, that everything is everything is sweetness and light, okay. Everything is just a bed of roses. Everything is just a case of you and your partner hand in hand walking off into a glistening sunset, okay, and that everything is just beautiful, and trading has allowed you to do that, okay. And I'm not saying that is that's not possible. It most certainly is, but what the reality is that it's important to understand, okay, and to have fantastic communication with your partner, okay. It might be your intimate partner, it might be family partner, it might be your closest friends, and actually be able to sort of openly communicate your journey as a trader, right. It's very easy to get caught up in your and you're very self-absorbed in your own little world of trading. As I said, if you're locked away at home on your own trading away, it becomes very difficult to basically to sort of break out of that. It's also a case that perhaps if the case that you might say your partner, you're having a particular bad time, and maybe you start using your partner as your therapist, okay, and that in itself is not a particularly good thing. Remember, as I've just talked about in terms of social health, no one understands your trading quite like another trader. So, if you feel the need to get out and actually chat to about your trading, sometimes it's best to just go and chat to other traders. Get yourself a little kind of buddy network of a couple of traders you can go and sit and chat about your experiences with, because it's actually not that fair. Despite your partner probably wanting the best for you, not always the case, but most good partners, they want the best for you. They want you to succeed. It's not always fair on you to be able to sort of just completely sort of download and dump your frustrations if you've had a particularly challenging week of trading. And it might also be that you find that perhaps your closest partner, maybe family, they don't actually really fully support you in your endeavors. Maybe they're not maybe they're not terribly pleased about trading, etc. Okay, maybe they're not particularly pleased about your particular choices that you'll find will that this will uncover that. So it's important to embrace it, okay. Be upfront, be open, be communicative, okay. Communicate early, communicate well, all right, and don't allow ambiguity to get in there, especially when it becomes to sort of particular your relationship with your primary partner, okay. It's a case of that has to be managed. That your primary partner, it has to be someone there who can support you in your endeavors, not hinder you, okay, or not drive a wedge there between you and your relationships. So yeah, overall, as I said, it's important for you to spend time with your family. Okay, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, okay, there, okay, because those of you who are film buffs will recognise that's the Godfather family, the Corleone family. So yes, you can spend time with your family. We all have families, okay. We all have family challenges. all families can be a bit dysfunctional, all right, okay. But equally, it is that case of blood is thicker than water, right? And it's a case of as a trader, trading is challenging enough as it is. So don't go looking for trouble with your family when in fact actually that's not required, okay. It's a case of getting your friends, your partners, your family on side, okay. Ensure being able to communicate, being able to sort of embrace that rather than kind of hiding away from it, or rather than actually sort of avoiding it, okay. It's a case of get your family on side, okay. It's a team effort. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, all right, okay. We've talked a little bit there about managing your health as a trader, and as it says there in the text, you've listened to this webinar and probably nodded your head at some of the sage advice that we've offered here, okay. You probably sat there and thought, yeah, Paul's right, Paul's absolutely right there. I should be doing that, But actually, you'll probably still go and make the mistakes anyway, all right. And why is that? We talked about this a few weeks ago. It's a case of beware of your ego telling you that it knows what's best for you, okay. In managing yourself as a trader, prevention is always better than cure, and I can totally Totally back that, okay, up personally, all right, okay, and all those elements of those health elements that we've just discussed there for the last 30-40 minutes. Prevention is always better than cure. Hopefully by listening to those elements, it just makes you, maybe it resonates with you, maybe it just basically helps, raise your awareness. Maybe it's just something that you've thought, perhaps, it's been on your mind, but you've never really thought, well, what should I do about it? How should I address it? My case is, if there are the challenges in any one of those areas of health, well then, embrace it, okay? Embrace it, okay? Then there's nothing in there that is not, that's not either preventable or curable or fixable, okay? Embrace it, okay? And step into the challenge, all right? And take it on board, okay? Because I assure you, you might not think it has an effect upon your trading, but I assure you that it will, all right? I assure you. And the longer that you trade, the more you have to manage yourself, okay? Especially if you, let's say, go towards becoming, let's say, a fund manager, a money manager, I can assure you that managing your health as a trader becomes increasingly important, ladies and gentlemen. And as I said, prevention is better than cure, okay? Prevention is better than cure. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, trading can be an intense and demanding occupation. And because of that, it becomes important to manage your health to be the best trader that you can be. It's not just a case of just managing your narrow, specific physical health. You need to take into consideration your mental and your emotional health, your financial health, your spiritual health, your social health, and your relationship health. Sadly, as I said, most people only learn after the experience, all right? But good traders realize prevention is better than cure. And good traders would build all aspects of their health into their trading plan. Just ask yourself, have you addressed any of those particular issues in your overall, trading plan or your overall business plan for your trading business? I would probably guess that very few, if any, people have them, but I assure you it is worth doing, even if it's just a few lines. Remember, it's evolutionary. It's not about being perfect today or tomorrow. It's about being able to start to look at how could you go about managing your health better on a day-to-day basis. So, as always, if you want, to have a little bit of social health, okay, and you improve your relationship health, okay, well then, you can come and join us in the exclusive trading spotlight community, okay, where you'll find myself and in particular my colleagues Marcus and Jens. We're there, and I'll be there for the rest of the afternoon and in and out for all of this week, okay, and we're there to actually to help you, okay. We're there quite happy to answer your questions, to sort of see how you're getting along as a particular trader, and you're welcome to join us there, tradersyard.com, and you can join the trading spotlight group on tradersyard.com/group/312. And don't forget to join us next time, where on Wednesday, my colleague Marcus is going to talk about the importance of price. Okay, so what do traders mean when they're talking about price? Why is price so important? What does it tell us? And how can we effectively trade the price? So that's 2 o'clock London time on this Wednesday, March the 4th. And you can always check your inbox for the webinar link. And as always, there's lots of analysis and education at admiralmarkets.com. You can always contact us, email hello@admiralmarkets.com, or join us on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/admiralmarkets, or facebook.com/admiralmarketsglobal. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you found that useful. I hope that's given you some food for thought. Okay, something to sort of make you think about your own way of managing your health as a trader. And as always, I wish you the best of success in your own trading, and I look forward to joining you again on the Admiral Markets Trading Spotlight webinar series. Trade well, ladies and gentlemen.